I'm Dan Galusha, and welcome to another edition of Dan's Fishing Tales. Today we're going to be fishing with the QC Lure Worx Snatcher. That's what it's called, Snatcher. There it is, right there. I've been having some luck with this Texas rigging it. It works as a great jig trailer too. I mean, obviously. I mean, look at the way it is. But it's really good at Texas rigging, and I'm going to be using it on a Pro X hook that has the very sharp X point to it. It's also got a dollar finish, and it has really no flex, so it really will set the hook at a longer distance, which is important, especially today, because I'm going to be fishing weed beds that are out further away from me. I'm using a 3/16 ounce right now. It might be a little bit heavy, I'm not sure, but it will get me out further. I've got it on a Handing Fishing, that's what it's called, that's the company, Handing Fishing M1 reel and rod outfit. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to Texas rig it. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can Texas rig this. One is, it's got a very deep hook slot in it. Now hook slots can be used two different ways. One, you can put the hook into it as far as going this way and that way in this direction, so that there isn't as much plastic to go through. But what I'm going to do, because of the longer distances, I'm going to actually rig it, I guess you'd say, kind of upside down. It's not going to be, this is going to be the downside, because I'm going to have it so that the hook comes out in this deep slot that it has. It has a very deep hook slot. So we're going to put it on just like this, like you would. Break it out, bring it around, and this is a wide gap, by the way, which makes it even better for this much plastic. Now we're going to push it through here, and I want it to come out where that hook slot is, and it's a tough plastic on this thing. That's one reason I'm using this hook slot. I mean, it's very tough. It's almost like the Elaztex that Z-Man uses. Now there, it's in the slot so that it's like this, but it's also, the point is out. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the point is out there. It stuck me in the finger. So anyway, that's what we're going to do, and I've got some, this is a, I don't know what color they call it, but it's actually a bright fluorescent. It's a more of a chartreuse color, and it's a casking line. So we're going to give that a try too. Be able to see it better, because a lot of these strikes I've been having have not been a very hard or good hard hold, or even a hit. It's been feeling like a bluegill, and then they've got a hold of it. That's when you better set the hooker to get it a little bit deep. So anyway, let's get fishing. You know, I've had several hits on this, but they just haven't taken them. And I'm kind of thinking perhaps that it's too big of a weight. And I've got another one rigged here. This is another Handing Fishing. It's a Magic Soul. It's for the finesse style casting, and I've got a 1/8 ounce weight on here, and it's hooked the other way. In fact, this is kind of a part of one of them from where I've been catching them. As you can see, it's got weeds already on it, and we're going to try that, see if maybe that's the problem, that we just need to have a little bit slower fall and not so much disturbance down there with that bigger weight. So we're going to try this smaller one. This one, by the way, has the front taken off because it was torn up, and I'm going to hook it now differently. I was using the hook slot in the opposite direction, as I was showing you. Well, now I'm going to use it to hide the hook point and see if that helps, because this rod is a light rod. Like I said, it's for the finesse style casting. And I'm going to hide it in there. And I did get one that hit pretty good. And the whole thing is by this lighter weight, it's riding more on top of the weeds rather than digging down into them like that heavier weight did. And that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it'll bring them up now by rehooking this after that last fish hit. Well, we'll see what happens. It's not real big, but I'll tell you what I did. Get this out of here. Barney's all excited. What I did, and he threw it off camera, I decided, well, I'm going to try a 4-inch worm just for the heck of it. And I did. And I used that on a B-fish and H2O head. So I pulled out my Godwin crappie cast, B&M crappie cast. And I thought, well, I got a jig head on that. Why don't I take the craw off of the one that I was using with the light casting and put it on here. Well, it's pretty shot. That's why I lost it there. But I seen him throw it somewhere out there. Anyway, that's what I did. And I just took it and just kind of jigged it along like I did with the 4-inch worm. And so that's another way that you can use it. And it's just a straight head like this. This is a 3/16 ounce, I think. Yes, 3/16 ounce head. They're marked on these, by the way, the bee fishing heads. They're marked as to what the size is. And I may have been lucky to get him in, because looks like that line's kind of, yep, it just popped right there. So that was frayed. I'm going to have to retie that. But anyhow, we're going to try this again. Like I said, I got that one. And we'll try it with it like this and see what we can do with it. I got to retie. Okay, I'm retied, and let's try this again. Otherwise, we're going to be starting to move and go to a different location. There we go. Way out there on those weed piles. Well, I think he threw it. No, I still have him. Yep, I still got him. definitely took it. And that shows you that just switching, like from a Texas rig to this, that made the difference. Barney, he's after the moss. He likes the weeds. So, yeah, I got to get this thing off of here. Like I said, I just switched to this little jig, and that's what we got him on. I got him way out there on that. There we go. And he threw the craw. There's the one problem though with using this small jig, is the fact that it will throw a craw very easily. What we'll do is we'll get him back in the water. He's not all that big, but he is fish, and like I said, he showed that this will work. But again, you're going to go through a lot of those craws using something this short of a shank like that, because there's a lot of, well, which I'll show you what it's like with a full size here after I get rid of him. Now, I'll show you on a full-size craw, because I had a full-size one on there, and I had not just a part of one. I call this a craw, but it's a snatcher. Now, a full-size one, this is 3/16. You notice how short the head is, or how short the shank on the hook is. So when you put that in there, it's got this much of the body from here on. It's got that much of the body behind it. So that's got a lot of weight in that, so that the fish can break it off, especially when you're that far out. And so you want a little bit longer shanked jig. The only problem with that is when you do that, you might have to go to a heavier head. There are a few made that have light heads and bigger hooks. In fact, I've talked to Bee Fishing several times about turning these into bigger hook ones, and having both, have the small hook and the larger hook. It would be very easy to do, and again, it would definitely team up good with the Snatcher. Now, the way that we were doing it earlier with the Texas rig, yeah, that's been working great, but for some reason today, after I switched over to that little 4-inch worm, which you didn't see, they started hitting that, and I was just working along like I was this one. Now, this last fish, I was dragging it a little bit in those weeds, and just to see what happened. Anyway, that's the Snatcher, and that's what it'll do, and you can vary it and use a skirted jig too, by the way. Didn't try that today. I just think it might be a little bit too much for them. So until next time, get out on the water and enjoy a great day of fishing.